Yo, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the channel, man. And today we're going to talk about what's the difference between the LT2 intake manifold and the MSD intake manifold. A lot of people have been asking me ever since I installed the mod on the car, since I had both, what's the difference between the two, which one I like the most, and I'm going to explain that with you guys. So we're going to jump straight into it, man. But before, well, actually, we're not going to jump straight into it because actually, man, just look at the hood, bro. Like, look at the hood on this car, man. I hope y'all can see it from different angles, like the different type of, like the rainbow effect they got on here. And it just looks so good with the Rapid Blue, man. I can't even lie, y'all. It looks really good. And I got the hood propped open because I want to show y'all the engine bay. But, yeah, just getting up close and personal on that joint. That joint look really good. One thing I must say I like about this hood though, for sure, is that it extracts a lot of heat out of here way better than stocks. Like the stock, it would be like right here. This double like helps all of this out right here, and this right here. It just helps the car a lot better. The only con, if you guys thinking about getting it, well, it's really not a con, but it's something to worry about. Like if you guys have the Roto Fab intake manifold, as y'all can see here. I don't know, can you look down in there, but you can see like there's an opening. Usually that'll be sealed with the RotoFab coater intake, but I haven't noticed a difference in power or anything, and this car has actually picked up some gains as it sits. But with that being said though, and we got that out the way, because man, I'm gonna keep looking at it because it's so nice. Got more stuff coming for the car too. We're gonna talk about the LT2. So as you guys know, on my setup, my build on here, I had the LT2 intake manifold with a stock ported throttle body. So really it was like 87 millimeter, but it got ported out to a 91 millimeter by Tony Memo. Usually the next throttle body up from there is a, I'm trying to open it too. The next throttle body up from there would be the LT5 throttle body, and that would be like a 95. So that's why I didn't jump up there, because I knew once I go with the stock ported, I was automatically gonna jump up to like a 103 eventually. But when I went to K-Tech, as you guys know, like I just already had the intake manifold, I already had a stock throttle body, I already had like lots of the mods because it came off my old Camaro, and I was gonna put it on this one to see what the power gain is gonna be like. So LT2 intake manifold on a heads and cam car. Does it make a difference? Does it make power? Long story short, you're still gonna make power with the LT2 intake manifold, but it's not gonna be as much. On this car, on 91, it made, on 91 pump gas, it made 507 or 510 on pump. And then with E85, it made about 530 to the wheels on that. If it was on 93, it'll be a different ball game. I think on 93, it'd have been like 530, and then it would have been like 560 with the LT2. So if that's something you guys looking for, and that's like your perfect range you want to be in, it's there you go. But the con with the LT2, with the heads and cam car, and on my setup, because even though people say I got a baby cam, which it is spec wise, but it makes a lot of power, the LT2 makes the cam fall short a little bit in the higher upper RPMs. So let's say around like 62,000 RPMs, that is where the LT2 starts to like fall a little bit. And that's the main reason why I went with the MSD here. So with the MSD that we have here, we have the MSD ported to the runners, cleaned up a little bit, and we have a 107 throttle body on here. So that was a huge gain coming from a heads and cam car. I can already tell you guys, like I already feel the difference. When you go with heads and cam, it's a must to get the 107, 103 throttle body and the MSD, or you can go with the high ram. Different with the high ram though, like if you seen my last video with Danny, they had to cut here and cut there so it can fit. I didn't want to do that on this car because I mean honestly the car looks sexy as is, and I didn't want to like do the high ram effect, maybe down the road, but yeah, I didn't want to do that. I seen somebody on IG though did a flex. They took a carbon fiber hood, cut the hole in there, and had the high ram come out, but I'm not gonna do that with this, man. I'm gonna just stay with what I got. And then now my build looks complete. And also that was another reason why I went with the LT2, with the MSD over the LT2, man, because as much money I dump into this car, I'm not gonna lie, like the LT2 without the cover is an eyesore for me, and it gets dirty in the nooks and crannies and all that, and I didn't want to deal with that all the time, because I always kept cleaning my engine bay out because it gets pretty dusty underneath there, but I didn't want to keep dealing with that. And with MSD, it kind of like dresses up the engine bay a little bit right there, so I like that look so far. It makes the car look a lot cleaner. It doesn't make it seem like it's a cheap build. But the pro with the MSD versus the LT2 versus the MSD, the LT2 I would say would be great for full bolt-on cars. So if you're looking for some car with some, if you got a car and you're trying to make some power gains, the LT2 would be that manifold for you. Great bolt-on mod. You don't need to tune it. Versus when you put the MSD on your car, you will have to tune that. But if you go with the LT2, you can just get it from GPI. That's where I got mine from. Bolt it onto your car, and you can ride with it until it's time for you to get a tune. MSD, you can do that, but I don't know. It all depends on what throttle body you run. Probably stay with the stock throttle body in that case. But yeah, the MSD, if I haven't talked about it already, I can rev out on the MSD now with the 103. I can rev out between 66 and 68 K on the RPMs, man. So that is a lot better to me because it revs out there, and plus the way I use this car at the track, I'm using the full power band all the time versus on the street. Between the two, to be honest, you're not really gonna see the gains unless you like really up there. So if you're not racing, if you're not using the car to its full potential, they both is kind of like at a mute point, but it's better than the stock manifold that comes on these cars, man. So that is where we at so far, man. I don't know what my car makes of now, but I know the car makes way more power than it did before. My 60 to 130 times have increased in this car too, based on the setup as it sits. Haven't put a drag pack on here yet with this new setup to see what the improvement was, but based on where my car sits now with the new tune, I'm happy where it's at in like a high DA. Like, so when this car was in 3000 DA, like it made some nice, it made a nice 60 to 130 gain, and I'll share that in another video. But yeah, I just want to talk about the difference between the LT2 and the MSD. I get this question asked a lot on Instagram. I get it asked a lot when I'm out and about, like, hey, what's the difference, what I feel about it, how do I like the MSD over the LT2, was it the best bang for buck, was it worth it doing that upgrade? And me personally, like I said before, if you're watching a budget on your price right now, get the LT2, and then once you go up to your like heads and cam, sell the LT2, and then just go to the MSD or the high ram with a 103 throttle body, because that's where your power gains are going to be, man. Especially on a heads and cam car. Before both on E85, they both like even. Something else I forgot about, the difference between the two. One more thing, with the LT2, what you see is what you get. Like once you bolt on that manifold and you go up to that ported throttle body or that stock throttle body, whatever power you get, that is it. The MSD, this is the pro towards the MSD, is that you have a little bit more of a future build with the MSD. So with the MSD, besides like the 103 throttle body, you can add nitrous to it. You can add nitrous to the MSD, but you can add nitrous more better for the MSD. Also, you can open the MSD and port the inside of the runners for more power gains. With the LT2, you cannot open it up. MSD is a pro right there. Another pro with the MSD is that it has holes on the side that you can drill into where it's more ready for port injection. The LT2 is not ready for port injection. It's gonna stay with the direct injection setup, and that's what it is. You can't do nothing more with that, man. So the only porting you're really doing on the LT2 is on the outside and the runners. But in the MSD, you can port the inside of the manifold and you can port the outside and all that stuff too, man. So I just want to put that out there before I wrap this video up. If you guys like this video, y'all know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to follow the MOC. And that's me, Q the Chaotic, Race Car Friends, and the Hunter Gang Nate.